YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we lived in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Everybody's heard about the Hollywood strike, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they don't want you to hear about the Hollywood strike, and pretty much everything that I tell you they don't want you to know, and that's not some type of YouTube pitch. That is fact, because I can talk about topics from MK Ultra to the vaccines to graphene to blue chip to a Bluetooth thingy to all these other things, all the way down to talking about your favorite pop singer being a part of the occult by just holding up signs and symbols and showing you it in the music videos. And they don't want that. Why? Well, what do I do different than everybody else? People are like, oh, I follow this guy. He doesn't get a strike. Well, there's a few things that I do different. I don't keep people trapped in the left-right paradigm, and I break things down pretty clearly and very simply. Okay? I have a strong voice, and I'm able to lead. And these are things that they're fearful of. And that is why I uploaded a video about the Hollywood strike to my new main channel, and without it even going live, it got a strike. And you'd think, well, I'm probably a mistake, right? The strike was for inciting violence. It's the second strike I've gotten this week. One was a warning. This is a strike. Now I can't upload for 7 days, so I appealed it. And I lost the appeal because apparently the video I'm about to play for you is inciting violence. This video is not inciting violence in any way, shape, or form, as you'll hear. In fact, it might even get me a strike on this channel, which at this point, I don't care. I will be uploading it here as well as the website, acallforanuprising.com. And I'll play the video in a second. I'm here to tell you, please subscribe to this channel below now. I have 2 channels linked. Make sure you sub to An Eye for an Eye. Don't miss out. Don't beat around the bush. I'm telling you, I'm going to be nuked. Okay? And this is the only thing I can do. And people are like, well, go here and go there. I can't reach new people on Rumble. Nobody's there. Nobody cares. People who are already awake are there. So the people who constantly ask me to go there are people who want to be entertained by me. I'm not a clown. I am not here to entertain. I am here to get truth out. And the only purpose of getting the truth out is to help people wake up who aren't awake, or people who are somewhat awake to see better. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what the website is for. So I'm staying here. And on top of all that, I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn. And I don't really understand the mindset of YouTube constantly doing this to me, because really, wouldn't the worst thing they want would be someone like me who can naturally lead, who's a gifted speaker, to take it to the streets? I mean, all I'm doing is uploading on YouTube. Right? I haven't even shown my face yet. Okay? And I'm not afraid to show my face. Okay? I do it because this helps me get around the algorithm. Number 2, it's not about me. It's not about attention. I don't need to take headshots. I never would. Or pictures of myself. And, oh, look at me. And, oh, I'm at this event. Sorry, that's not me. I was born to lead in a sense, but I'm not born to boast and push myself. But if you push my buttons hard enough, which they've constantly been doing, I will rise and I will lead people and I will get something going. Now, that doesn't mean violence. Of course, when people hear, oh, he's going to take it to the streets, that means violence. No, it does not. It does not. It means many other things, though. And I can be a much worse threat with my voice than the majority of people out there who are mainstream speakers can be, like the Russell Brands who are promoted by the New World Order, who happen to date Rothschilds and Katy Perrys and all these people who are bloodlines. Those people aren't real leaders. Those are COINTELPRO agents. And for you out there who think that I am, yeah, I am. How'd you guess? Right? Some people have been saying, they're like, man, this guy just sabotaged his own channels. He strikes himself. He removes the videos. Yeah, because I have so much fun every month now. This is a monthly thing. Making new channels from zero. Having to mass email people. Constantly, almost like guerrilla marketing to get people to come to my new channels. Not because they don't want to, because they have their own lives. I'm not their life. I don't expect them to open every email that I send. I don't expect them to watch every video that I upload. So I have to constantly just get the word out there that here I am or there I am. And then on top of it, I have about 800 people who pretend to be me. So people think that they're subbed to me, but they're subbed to other channels who use my logo and pretend to be me. They upload some of my videos and they upload other stuff because they're just trying to build out channels. So that's what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. All I ask in return is please follow my other channels, link below. Please join the website at callforanuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. Why? Well, that's how I keep trolls out, because one of the reasons I constantly get taken down is because I get flags. So you know how many people be on the website posting pictures of their button dicks, so to speak? A lot of them. A lot of these tranny freaks. So, I mean, excuse me. I meant to say Buffalo Bills, okay? So it's $2.99 a month. It's ad-free. It keeps it, well, flowing smoothly. It helps me send out emails and do all these other things that I need to do with the website to keep it functioning. I can't, this isn't just a forum thing, where you could just put it up. I have to be able to put up unlimited video content, all this other stuff. It costs money to make money, and they say, well, this costs money to run, to operate. So that's why there's a fee. It's the price of really a donut a month. Not every day, a month. So it's worth it. Join if you haven't. You can share content, share your channel. A lot of like-minded people. I learn from people there. It's not about me, the website. It's not me. I'm not looking for people to follow me, okay, which is another reason that I don't go out there and do stuff. I don't want people to follow me. I want people to work together to stop this crap. And that's what the website is. It's a place where people are working together. It's okay to argue and have disagreements about certain topics. Everybody's an adult over there, and everybody is very like-minded. So check out the website, but at the very least, sub to those channels, link below. Again, this video I'm about to play for you got a strike for inciting violence. Tell me where in the video I'm inciting violence. Why? Because I raised my voice? Or are you saying it's inciting violence when you're calling out communism, when you're calling out what's really happening? Because you're one step ahead, which I am, of what they're doing. From Sounds of Freedom to all these things, they're all psychological operations. You're being herded. You're being worked. You're being manipulated. You can't look at it like I say in the video. You can't look at this stuff and be like, I'm awake. I know what's happening. The conservatives are oppressed and there's a new world order coming, without realizing that the whole right side, the conservative movement, is controlled. Sounds of Freedom doesn't get pushed into the mainstream unless they're hurting people, in a sense. Well, they put that into the mainstream. Then what do? Oh, the DOJ removes child trafficking from their website. How convenient. How convenient. That's how psychological operations work. They herd you. They manipulate you. So here's the video that got a strike because it's so controversial, to point out the obvious. And people out there say, well, you're not doing anything that anyone else doesn't do. Well, clearly the way that I do it works, because that's how I've had 550,000, 350,000, and about 35 to 40 channels that have hit 100,000 subs, all terminated, because they know that I can constantly, whether it's somebody off the streets or someone who already listens to my content, will listen to the content. Because I'm not just somebody, oh, well, this guy gives more factual stuff, or this guy talks about this topic and a call doesn't. Oh, yeah? Well, clearly I speak clearer and better than a lot of other people, and I'm a threat to them because of that. Not because I'm smarter, not because I'm better, because they don't want voices like me who are capable of leading people to be out there, especially on this platform. But it's going to backfire, because eventually I'm going to be out there on the streets. Here's the video. This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do a video about this facade that we're seeing from Hollywood, this Hollywood strike that we're seeing. There's a lot of agendas that could obviously be tied into this, such as, of course, all of these celebrities who happen to have apocalypse bunkers, right? They don't believe in biblical scripture. They don't believe in the end times, but they all have doomsday bunkers. They've all put millions and millions of dollars into it, so clearly they know that something's coming, and of course they know because, well, they're all government agents, so they know that the government has something planned for all of us, and that they need to probably get underground, not just because of what the government's going to do above ground here, but also so that they can hide from actual civilians, because civilians will begin to realize that it was the celebrities that were grooming everybody and misleading people, and of course, helping in this civil unrest that our government has caused by design. So if you haven't heard, Hollywood, of course, is playing to all of this stuff with a strike, and they're playing into all this woke nonsense. Now, this is all done by design. It's not because they're good people. It's not because they all happen to have the same political ideologies. They all happen to be communists, right? We've seen Fran Drescher, who apparently is the leader of this, the woman who is, or man who's been in The Nanny, is supposedly the leader of this, somebody who's tweeted many times speaking out against the dangers and capitalism, and of course playing to the weakened minds out there, talking about capitalism has become another word for ruling class elite, but Fran Drescher is one of the ruling class elite. So are all these celebrities. It's funny how they play to their dumbed down audience and they talk about the elitists as if they're all Republican, conservative, rich people, when in fact it's all the liberal communists, who are promoting communism to these people and convincing them that capitalism is of the devil. So Fran Drescher has a $10 million home, who used to make $2 million an episode on a show called The Nanny, is apparently a figure speaking for the poor man out there. So this is part of the deception we're seeing as well with this Hollywood strike is them, pretending that they care about the labor workers on set, the little man. And this is part of the deceit and the deception that these people use on a day in and day out basis, pretending that they care for the children. That's why they want children to castrate themselves. They care for the LGB, and that's why they all coincidentally have kids who are LGBT or kids who are trans, right? Nothing to be suspicious of there. It's just, that's the normal world they want you to believe. When in reality, you would be hard-pressed to find anyone in your community like this, but everyone in Hollywood seems to, because they're just such better people than us. Of course, this is all done by design to influence the masses out there. So Fran Drescher speaking against capitalism, speaking, of course, for communism, speaking for the little man. And if you think for 1 second that Hollywood isn't going to be destroyed, well, it is. Okay, Hollywood is going to be brought to its knees, just like every other industry. Hollywood is not an exception because of the mind control programming. Now there'll be a new version of Hollywood, of course. Hollywood is state-run media anyway. Okay, just like everything in China, they admit to it being state-run. They try to pretend here in America like everything's not state-run and that it's the illusion of left and right. It's all fake. It's all state-run. Hollywood is run by the government. Every movie has an agenda behind it. They put these characters in the movies on purpose to brainwash. They put these scripts about aliens, of course, to brainwash and create a false reality. And of course, now we've seen Hollywood sabotage itself with the woke movement, right? You don't think that anyone in Hollywood has self-awareness to the point where they're actually just continually making these movies like they've taken Indiana Jones and they've turned it woke, where they have quotes in the trailer about, I steal from you, you steal from me, they steal from them. It's called capitalism. Nobody laughed, nobody finds it funny, but they know what they're doing. They're sabotaging this entire thing on purpose. And now when we look at the strike, what could be some of the things behind the strike? Well, one of the things that people have mentioned, especially over on my website, is they've talked a lot about, are they going underground? Well, they very well could be, since they all do have underground bunkers, right? Since they all do know what's coming, maybe this is an opportunity for them to say, hey, we're going to step out of the spotlight now, and we're going to go live our lives. Normally, we're going to, because we care so much about the little man, we're going to just not work anymore. Because we want, an intern on the set to make better wages, even though these are the same people that we throw cups of coffee at. Right? If anyone's ever heard some of the horror stories from movie sets about what lowlifes these people are, like Christian Bale, again, who you might remember thanked Satan in a speech many years ago that I covered, another YouTuber covered. When he was belittling somebody on set who was just a set worker. I mean, these people treat everybody else like they're compost, but they're going to stand up for the little man when it comes to wages, which again ties into the communist equal pay agenda. That's what they're doing here. They're manipulating people into thinking that they care about society and all that stuff. Nobody looks past that and says, wait a minute, Fran Drescher, you got a $10 million home in Malibu or wherever it is. All these people have double-digit $1 million homes, and they all have doomsday bunkers, right? But nobody sees how they're being worked by them. And like I said earlier, all conveniently have kids that have transitioned, so to speak, right? All of which, all of these people in general, if you can look at it from this perspective, this is common sense perspective. This is what I try to make clear on this channel. You think that there's nobody in Hollywood that realizes that everything they do that's woke doesn't make money. Right? Well, that's done by design. They obviously realize that nobody wants this crap, but it gives them an excuse to sabotage industries like Bud Light, right? Bud Light's going to go broke at some point. Anheuser-Busch's going to go down at some point. And they're going to say it's all because of, hateful bigots who refuse to buy their product because they wanted to care about other people. So they're the ones responsible for making it broke. Now, again, all industry needs to be demolished in this new world order. And of course, all these industries are run got by the government anyway, or have their hand in with the government anyway. That's why all the businesses are woke. None of them, for the most part, there's only a handful that come out and pretend to be anti-woke because they don't want it to be too obvious. Just like there's a few handful of actors in Hollywood who come out and go against communism and go against Hollywood, right? Like John Voight. Oh, John Voight's not one of them. They're like, John Voight's a patriot. He stands for America. Oh, yeah. Does anyone know the backstory of John Voight and the abuse of his children? No, of course they don't talk about that. John Voight supports Trump, so he's great, and he's against Hollywood. John Voight's a plant, obviously. His daughter, Angelina Jolie, one of the highest witches in Hollywood. Oh, but they don't have a relationship, right? Well, she wouldn't have a career then, would she? If it wasn't for her father. Of course, I've covered Angelina talking about snake rituals and blood drinking rituals in the past. Of course, those videos are long gone as well. And of course, we have Angelina doing all those things with horses, etc., that were making people sick because it was absolutely revolting. But we're not supposed to be suspicious of John Voight, just like some of these other guys, like the guy who played Hercules, right? Of course, now it's Jim Caviezel, however you say his last name, who I've covered over on the website with Sounds of Freedom, with this agenda going on at the same time as the DOJ removes all the stuff from their website about that topic. Okay, people don't realize what PSYOPs are. They get so emotionally caught on into this, they don't realize they're being played. It doesn't get out unless they want it out. Stories like this don't get out unless they want it out. And I'm referring to the Sounds of Freedom thing and how the media is covering it. They're giving it more publicity. And then people are all caught up in it. And they're like, if you question it, you're horrible. And it's like, no one's questioning that it's going on. But you have to watch how they lead you, because they're leading you and herding you like cattle, left and right. People just think it's the left. It's both that are being herded. The right are like, we're awake. We know what's going on. You're being herded. You're being misled. These conservative figures who pretend to talk about these things and expose these things, who do nothing in Congress on a day in and day out basis to get anything done, they work them and pretend, oh, well, we're going to shift into a national divorce with Major Taylor, Marjorie Greene, and Trump, and all these other guys, and Lauren Boebert, and they're real crusaders. And the reality is that's where they want you to go. That's where they want to herd you into, or excuse me, what they want to herd you into. So again, Hollywood is doing this by design. They do not care about minimum wages and what people make on set. They don't care about anyone that's beneath them. They spit on people. You see these people in the streets or people trying to take pictures, they act like they're so high and above too. But when the cameras are rolling, they don't realize when people are filming them on a phone. But when the actual cameras are on there, oh, they're philanthropists. They're wonderful people. They care about kids. They care about this. And they care about that. They're all agendas. They are all agents of government. Okay? This right here has multiple things behind it. One is the destruction of Hollywood, which is part of communism. Two, they're talking about equal pay for the most part, not amongst them and the workers in Hollywood and SAG, etc. They're talking about society and equal pay and better wages. They're speaking for the poor man out there, but they don't represent anybody but themselves. They represent Big Brother and they represent the elite, but they pretend like they're not the elite. So nobody looks at them, and these people listen to what they say and they don't go, well, why isn't Fran Drescher giving her salaries up then for helping these people out? Right? Oh, well, she shouldn't have to do that, but she needs to get her voice out there. They're all on strike, so they're not going to be making any money. Oh, no, your tax money's going to these people. They're government agents. The majority of these people in Hollywood, if not every one, is an agent of the Central Intelligence Agency. They've all been raised through it. They all raise their kids the same way, through trauma-based mind control. It's all prevalent. It is done. There is no more like, hey, this guy's a good actor. He might get into Hollywood, then join a secret society. It's completely covered. The doors are shut. Everybody in there is on the in, just like in politics and just like in corporation. Okay? You can have a 4.2 GPA or whatever the top is, 4.0 from Harvard, even though you're not getting in. And you would not make it become a vice president at Coca-Cola unless you're one of them, unless you're properly trained. People are like, oh, I can just read the book. Yeah, well, they'll give you a little bit of a job for being a good little puppet and following the fake, history of the world and getting good grades and then repeating it to people around you. But they aren't going to let you on the inside unless you're one of them, which means you have to be indoctrinated in their secret society. So long story short, when we go back to this whole Hollywood narrative, is something coming where they're preparing to go to their bunkers? Probably. I mean, they have them, right? I mean, are we still going to sit here and pretend like, why do these people who claim to be atheists in Hollywood, who are all liberal, why would they all have doomsday bunkers, right? Why would they have it if they're about law? What are they afraid of? Oh, they're afraid of Putin? Is that what it is? All right. They're not afraid of any of us. Now, I know a lot of people out there, and there'll be a separate video I'll cover, talk about, well, they're fearful of God's wrath. They think they're going to hide in the mountains, hide underground. Understandable? Yeah. But is this story here giving them a chance to remove themselves from the spotlight for a little while they do some type of false flag event? Possibly. Very possible. They're all preparing themselves down underground. Now, they obviously have studios and things like that underground, but the Colberts and those types of people who perform in front of a live audience need an excuse, too, to not be on the air and everything to be shut off, the propaganda machine to be shut off. But it'll never really be shut off, the propaganda machine. They could shut Hollywood down for a period of time and bring it to its knees, but it's never going to be shut off fully. It'll just come out with a new name. It's like they're trying to destroy the DOJ, the CIA, and the FBI on purpose. But this has happened before. The CIA has gone under many different names before. It used to be called the OSS, right? That was the Office of Strategic Services. It was called the OSS. That was the CIA, okay, during World War II, after World War II. And then they changed the name to the CIA. They said, oh, we dissolved the OSS after World War II because World War II was over. Oh, and then it just turned into the CIA. So it would be the same thing. That's what they're doing here. They're going, okay, we're going to get rid of the DOJ. You know, all the Republicans are screaming to get rid of the FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA, which is understandable. But they don't realize that they're just going to disband it and give a new name to it. And they'll pretend it's more Republican leaning, right? And everyone will be like, I'm on board with this. It's the same thing. These agencies are the same thing. They just rename themselves. So Hollywood will come out of it at some point and rename itself, etc. But all these things have to be demolished first. And they're self-sabotaging Hollywood, just like they're self-sabotaging everything else. Government, industry, business, etc., society as a whole. And nobody sees it. They're just like, oh, yeah, look at them standing up for the little man out there. Yeah, Fran Drescher, you know, who openly speaks against capitalism, who wants us to be a communist society, is talking about the little man's rights. These people care nothing about any of us, and there's agenda behind everything that they do. It's strategically planned, and it's done by design. So this is a show and a charade, so don't fall for it. Don't be like, oh, you know, well, obviously nobody listens to my channel is like, oh, Hollywood's really caring. But look at it from the perspective of, okay, what is Hollywood doing? Because a lot of people think, well, Hollywood's not going to be brought down. They need the propaganda machine. Well, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be in place. The propaganda machine's really in the news. Hollywood actually releases the truth about what's going on, but they pretend it's fiction. They're like, it's fiction. But this is, you know, the agendas, the alien stuff. They don't pretend it's real in the movies, but they program people into thinking that, this could be real, when in reality it's not. Right? They show you demon possession all the time, but then they go, it's just fiction. It's a work of fiction. It's not real. But it is real. It is real. All of it. But they tell you that it's not, and then everything that they tell you is real is really fake, which is everything you see on the news. And that includes the left and the right. And the right. And that's one of the reasons I've constantly been silenced, even though I'm a brand new YouTuber, is because I don't keep you in that paradigm. And the big YouTubers out there who are conservative, they do. And that's the point, because they serve their purpose in the hurting of society and the national divorce. They need fake conservative voices just like they need fake liberal voices. Those people at the core are also communists, and they're also doing the government's bidding and work. Some of them by design, and some of them are just people who don't think further ahead, that think that, everything's fake, everything's rigged, that the government's in control of the media, yet they think that these things like Sound of Freedom aren't deliberately let out and pushed in the mainstream media, even though it's a push of, we're QAnon, crazy stuff. They wouldn't even bring attention to it. They would just ignore it. You know, if government ignores real questions, like Biden doesn't answer real questions, he walks away from the podium. That's how the media would respond to Sounds of Freedom. By them saying all this stuff and negatively speaking, it ignites the fire in the civil unrest. It ignites the right wing, and then everybody gets herded into that. And that's why you see so many people protecting Jim Caviezel and all these guys. It's done by design. That's what people need to understand. It's done by design. It's like they think they've taken the big step by realizing that they're all communists who are liberal and going, I'm a conservative and I believe in God and, we got to save the children. And a lot of these conspiracies are true. But then they believe that the Republicans in Congress aren't plants. And it's like, how do you get past that? How do you get to that point? You realize that the voting is fake, right? Okay. Everyone's been saying, I've been saying it for a long time. Now everyone's questioning it finally, right? But they're questioning where they're like, but they're just manipulating a few votes here and here so the liberals end up winning. The whole thing is fake. By saying that it's close and a few votes have been manipulated, it makes people even angrier. The entire thing is rigged. Couldn't they have just come out and said Biden won 70% to 30%? Right? And then couldn't the media have been saying how Trump was going to lose and Biden was going to win the whole time so that people weren't like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. That was all done so that people are like, how did he win? Well, we had it in the bag. Right? Can't you see how the flip side of that can work very soon? Where Biden is, they're saying the lowest rated president in the history of the world, or, of America. His approval rating's never been lower than anyone else. And then he somehow wins. People won't believe it, right? Well, that's what they want. They don't want you to believe. They want you to overthrow the system for them. The voting's rigged. Well, we need a new system. Oh, okay. Well, that's what they want. Problem, reaction, solution. They want you to demand a new system by self-sabotaging this system. So the Republicans who believe that these guys who are Republican in Congress, they're fun to listen to on the microphone for them. They're like, oh yeah, yell at them, belittle them. Trump's belittling them. Oh, it's entertaining. The simple fact is none of these people get anything done, just like when Trump was in power. What got done to drain the swamp that we were all told about? What got done with censorship? Nothing got done. It got worse. While Trump was in office is when the censorship started. It's just gotten worse over the last couple of years. But when Trump was in office for the whole first year of the outbreak, and that's when people like me got drilled. Trump came in right after the whole pizza thing with James Alefontis came in, and people like me got drilled and deleted. Oh, right. But nobody thinks like that. They're just like, well, it's the better of two evils, the lesser of two evils. Is there? Why? Because on paper, he's more entertaining to you? Or on a microphone, and he says the things that appeal to you more, so he's the lesser of two evils? They're all evil. And the only way to break away is to break away from them completely. But everyone's just getting sucked into the trap, and that's what they want. Hollywood's doing that, okay? And everyone out there who's Republican is like, we're destroying Hollywood. They're destroying themselves. They're like, we're destroying it because we're not going to see Indiana Jones because it's so woke, and we're not buying Bud Light. That's exactly what they know that. And even if a lot of people probably still are buying Bud Light because the narrative they're giving is like, oh, everyone stop buying it. Okay. Well, they're telling you this. Wouldn't they just not even tell you that Bud Light was getting sabotaged? Just falling on its knees? Wouldn't they tell you that? Would they tell you that? They wouldn't. They would just be like, we're not going to mention that they're, plummeting, right? People are like, oh, if you stop buying it, your stock goes down. That's not how the stock market works at all, actually. You hear reports of stocks doing double what they were supposed to make or expected to make during a quarter, and then the stock plummets 20%. And you're like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, some CEO there had a booger in his nose. That's why the stock plummeted. And you're like, oh, you're supposed to believe that's why. The stock market is manipulated however they want it to be, which is pretty much the more people that have money in it, they manipulate it the other way, in a sense. It's gambling. So people are like, oh, we're killing Bud Light. Look, no, Bud Light's killing themselves on purpose, working with the government. Hollywood's killing themselves on purpose, working with the government. They want you to think that you're making an impact by not going to the movies and not buying the beer. But that's not true. And what they want to do is make you think like you're doing this so that you can get herded where they want to herd you. Does that make sense? Because that's what's occurring here. None of it would be on the air. They wouldn't be talking about it. The conservative viewpoint on the air is fake. Fox is fake. All of it is. And there's going to be more of these guys who are alternatives to Fox as they realize that people are a little skeptical of Fox. So then Tucker Carlson breaks away. Oh, he breaks away. He's still rubbing shoulders with all the political pundit, all the guys running for president, right? No one's like, oh, he's still doing all these other things and he's hurting people, right? Oh, he's not mainstream media Fox News. Now he's independent. He's on his own. Oh, right. He's only making millions of dollars from Twitter. No one knows how that's even possible, but okay. It's all by design. No one is doing anything. They're hurting you. They're telling you that stocks are crashing. When they're crashing, they're telling you Hollywood's going broke because they're woke, because they're doing it. That's how this works. So the celebrities are protesting and boycotting and whatever. They're on strike, supposedly. Let's see how many end up in their bunkers if something occurs, or if this is just another part, which it is, of their communist tie-ins and communist agenda to sabotage all, because everything will be sabotaged in communism. Everything has to be brought to its knees, and then rise like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And this is no different. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're doing well. God bless all of you, as always, and your families.